You are listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, and now on YouTube.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the only wrestling talk show here on WHPC. Welcome to the second half of Takedown Breakdown. I'm your host, as always, Josh Silberg, with Lyle Gillen and Justin Caracciolo. And guys, this second half of the show, we are going to start it with the list of wrestlers that did get released. Pretty much like I said, there is a handful of them, and all of a sudden the list has decided to shut down. But I have the list pretty much memorized already. A couple of the guys that we have: Leo Rush, Gallows and Anderson, EC3, Rusev, Deonna Purrazzo, Legends deal, I believe it was with Kurt Angle, EC3, Drake Maverick, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Maria and Mike Bennett, Eric Rowan. I'm gonna get the list, but we'll start with the first one that is a fascinating one, and I want to hear the thoughts on it. We'll start with Rusev. Obviously, that was one of the more shocking ones. Justin, where do you think Rusev should end up, and why?
So there's two places that I think Rusev could really work in right now.
You can have more than one. You could definitely have more than one.
Okay.
That's completely allowed.
Okay, so one idea is the NWA, because they like it feels very old school, and an old school vibe is like the foreign invader being the massive heel, and you can have Rusev work a program with Nick Aldis. I think that could work really well. But somewhere that I think would be more interesting is New Japan. Not for any particular reason, but I just think that seeing Rusev versus Tomohiro Ishii would be really entertaining. And I think he could mix it up with a lot of guys over there that would make for some good matches and some good moments, I guess.
Lyle?
I actually didn't even think about NWA, and I'm going to 100% agree with him on that. It's a very good point. I was going to say AEW, because they are very much trying to get more some bigger talent. Not name size-wise. They want to get the bigger, stereotypical, stronger guys.
They're kind of getting that now with Lance Archer and Brody Lee coming in. They got Brian Cage on the horizon. I said they're kind of getting that now with Lance Archer and Brody Lee. They have Brian Cage on the horizon too. But yeah, I think you're right. He would be a good addition.
I don't know what
AEW.
What's going on with Brian Cage. Is he still injured, or?
I think he's still injured. Yeah, he is.
He had a bicep tear. Maybe?
Yeah.
That's what the rumor was.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably somewhere where he's gonna go. I think that's probably the someone they want to target if they're still looking to get big talent.
For sure. So I agree with both of your points. I think New Japan is one good spot, and I think AEW is another good spot. I think AEW he would thrive in. You put him in the heavyweight picture, I think it would be awesome. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he would have to be a face or a heel. He can be either or. Like I said, there's some of those guys in the industry that just work well like that. The New Japan one is an interesting one. I really didn't think of that one. The NWA is a good one too, by Justin, for sure. Lyle definitely hit on it when he said it was a great point, because it was. It's a phenomenal point. I think he's got so many openings that I think everybody's going to want him. You know what I mean? He's going to be the hottest free agent of all these out there. I think probably next to Leo Rush, in my opinion. So we'll see for sure. The next one is an interesting one, and I'll start with this one first because I want to see it. It's with Mike and Maria Bennett, and it's for me it's a no-brainer. With Vinny Marseglia doing his own group in Ring of Honor, and everybody pretty much leaving the kingdom for Matt Taven. I think a genius idea would be for Mike and Maria to go back to Ring of Honor, do the original Kingdom trio with Matt Taven, and have a feud with Vinny Marseglia's faction. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it would work well. And I think they thrived when they were in Ring of Honor. That whole group was really good. With Adam Cole as well was in that group, and Matt Hardy for a split period of time. But it was really the mainstays because Mike and Matt Taven, you have to remember, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven won the IWGP Tag Team Championships too when they were in Ring of Honor with New Japan too. So I think that would be an excellent idea to bring those two back with Matt. They're best friends in real life. I think it works perfectly. Matt needs backup. Why not go to your past?
I think you're right. I think that story kind of writes itself with the Kingdom and Vinny's group. I could also see their act working in Impact Wrestling.
What they
I
used
think
to be.
they had a short stop in there before they went to the WWE, so they might want to pick off where they left off. I could see either Ring of Honor or Impact working for the two of them.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care where he is. I don't really care about her character very much. But I think Mike Bennett should definitely go back to Ring of Honor. I think that's the place where he can succeed the most. I guess Impact he could go do, but I think that Ring of Honor is probably the more obvious choice and the more fitting choice.
Well, the thing is, I know you don't care about Maria's character, but she was really good in Ring of Honor and Impact. She was an excellent heel manager, and she was great in the Kingdom with Mike and Matt Taven and Adam Cole as one of the valets for them. She was really good at it. WWE just didn't let her do really anything. Honestly,
yeah,
they didn't let her
I know, but I've just never really seen her and really cared much about her.
Yeah.
Even during that time, I don't know. She just something about her. I just don't really care much about her.
What'd you say, Justin?
Work with the King. I said you made a good point. Her work with the Kingdom was really good. I think she was the first lady of Ring of Honor.
Yes. That was her thing,
Was that when she was there? Yeah.
That was when she was there.
Yeah,
and then she was supposed to be like the first lady thing of Impact too. She did a great job. She really was a great heel.
But she wasn't the first lady Impact.
No, of course not. No, she definitely was not. She definitely was not.
Ring of Honor, she got a point. But
yes, Impact she didn't, but she was still a good heel with everything like that. But we'll let Lyle start with this one first. I think this one, I would imagine we're all going to have agreement on this one. It's Gallows and Anderson. Lyle, we'll start with you first. I mean, Carl Anderson made a point today on Twitter where he's already probably going to go since he made a video today about it.
Yeah, I think they should go back to New Japan. I think with the revival most likely going to AEW, I don't think that they could be in a position to truly succeed in AEW. So I think New Japan is a better location, especially since New Japan. I feel like since they lost Gallows and Anderson the first time, then they lost War Machine, their tag team division. And I'm not including the junior tag team division. The regular tag team division hasn't been as strong. It's kind of just been Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, and then you had Finjuice, but
wrestlers.
As many.
It's an Evo for a bit too. Yeah, but
they have Evil Sonata.
You can't really have like 3 tag teams in a tag team division.
Yeah.
And so I think they will go there. I don't think they'll go in and go right back to Bullet Club. I think they'll just stay with Gallows and Anderson. I don't think it's going to work right off the bat as them going back into Bullet Club. But I wouldn't be shocked if they went to AEW, but I don't expect it.
No. Justin?
See, I agree with you that I think they're going back to New Japan, but I disagree in the fact that they won't rejoin the Bullet Club. Because I know the Guerrillas of Destiny are already kind of like the slotted tag team of that group. But I think it could work with Gallows and Anderson considering they were like the OG BC. And that's what the new Bullet Club stands for, is like the OG Bullet Club, like the originals. So I could see them going back to New Japan for the time being and then eventually working their way into AEW, but that's going to be something further down the line, I think, rather than instantly. Perhaps if AJ Styles eventually leaves the WWE and still wants to have the match with Kenny Omega, maybe at that point, then Gallows and Anderson will come with him to AEW.
Well, I said I don't think they'll immediately join. I think I could see them down the road, but when they come back, I don't think they will.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know when they have their tag league scheduled for this year. I know they moved everything around because of the Olympics.
Right.
I don't know if it's in the same time.
Who knows if they're going to have any events for this year? Who knows if we're even going to have a G1, which is a sad realization, but
Yeah.
We don't know.
When it comes back, what they could do, if they still have time to tag league, they could announce him then for that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that
be
would be
shocked
huge.
if they just pushed G1 back to
I
whenever
think they
this
already
ended.
have. I
Then.
think they already did to the fall.
Well, yeah, because of the Olympics, but I wouldn't be shocked if they pushed it back even more,
Yeah.
depending on when all this ends and they could get back to work.
For me, it's like I said, I agree with everybody. It's New Japan. I mean, you're seeing it on Twitter all over the place when with Bad Luck Fale and you're seeing it today. Tamatanga, Tangaloa, showing old photos of them on their Twitter page and stuff, saying, "Oh, blah, blah," I mean, they're trying to hint at it, but who knows if they'll do it right away? Maybe they make it a little more organic and they do it a different way. We shall see. But I think New Japan is the best spot for them right now. I think it's a no-brainer. Like I said, Carl Anderson posted today on Twitter of a video of a plane where he's living right now to Japan in a
Yeah, I saw that
video.
video.
Yeah, so that's like a wink, wink. But I think wherever Carl goes, and he also put down it said also Machine Gun Anderson, I think, at the end of the video as well. So
Yeah, had his little team.
I think
yeah,
they stay
so
together.
yeah, they
I
have
think
to.
they stay
And
together
wherever
no matter
Anderson
what.
goes, Gallows has to go with him. I think that's just has to be the
Yeah,
case.
which is a shame because Anderson's a very good wrestler.
No, he
He's
is.
beaten Shinsuke Nakamura in New Japan singles action
He
before.
was a former leader, so
Yeah, you have to say
I
that he's always restricted division.
So
yeah.
and again,
He
you're
could be
listening.
the U.S. champion.
And
Oh,
again,
sorry.
you're listening to
Yeah.
90.
New Japan.
You're listening to 90.3 WHBC, the voice of Nassau Community College. This is Takedown Breakdown with Justin Carasio, Lyle Gill, and I'm Josh Silverberg. And we're discussing right now pretty much wrestlers who were released yesterday by the WWE where they would end up going the best. I'll let Lyle start with this one too, and then I'll let Justin start with the next one because Lyle texted me a very good place for this guy yesterday, and it was a great point by him, and it got me excited thinking the opportunities this one can get. And I think Lyle knows where I'm hitting at, and that's Leo Rush. So, Lyle, you tell us where Leo you think can end up and why it's the best spot for him.
A lot of people said right off the bat, "Oh, Leo, go to AEW, go here." But the place where he would fit the best is New Japan, going to the juniors and competing there. I could because the rumor has been that Will Ospreay will start moving up to the
Yes.
heavyweight. If that's happened, they're losing talent in the juniors. Even if Will Ospreay stays,
He's been bulking up like crazy too, Ospreay.
Yeah.
Too.
So I think that having matches with Will Ospreay or Hiromu, I think that would be phenomenal and it was really fun to watch. It's definitely I think that's the place he can succeed the most.
It's endless. You can have him with Dragon Lee. You can have him with Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah,
I mean, you could
God.
just you can just go on and on with what a coup that would be. And I think his mic skill work is so good. I think he'll fit perfectly with that roster and that division alone. And I think he could succeed in it dramatically. Because I think he has the endurance to go the 30-minute matches that they usually go.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just a human highlight reel. He is.
I don't think his mic work would matter much because they don't really do much promos unless it's after the match again.
No, of course.
That won't matter. But his in-ring work is so good that he can really shine there, and that's where I think he's most suited to go.
Justin?
Yeah, similarly, I think his best bet now is to go to network in the junior scene.
Yeah.
However, I would also like to see him in the United Kingdom independent scene because there's a lot of interesting companies and a lot of interesting talent for him to work with that he hasn't had any experience with before, despite being in NXT, because there's not exactly that crossover between NXT and NXT UK. So seeing him work companies like Progress Wrestling and Rev Pro and WXW, which I know he used to work for a little bit in Germany for the 16 karat gold tournament. I think those would be interesting places to see him land, but ultimately he will end up in New Japan in the junior scene.
All right, one that I want to talk about it's an interesting one. The one I want to talk about is Kurt Hawkins. And I've been flipping back and forth on where I think he can go because Kurt is very, very talented. He really is, and of course he was on the independent scene for so long and everything like that. And it got me thinking, and of course you can agree, you can disagree if you like. Kind of has the same feeling a little bit as kind of like a Juice Robinson story where it just didn't work out great with like NXT WWE with Kurt, but he's so uber talented and he went to New Japan and New Japan saw the talent that Juice Robinson has. And he's become one of the faces of New Japan in the sense of he puts on really good matches. He puts on quality matches, but he puts guys over really well. Like he put Moxley over extremely well when Moxley got there. I could 100% see a Kurt Hawkins succeeding in New Japan, like in the mid-card style for the, you know what I mean? You could make somebody like that work. Justin, what are your thoughts on that one?
Personally, I don't really see Kurt Hawkins having a landing spot right now. It's unfortunate, but I just think at this point he's almost damaged goods because the way that the WWE has portrayed him for so long, you see guys who are able to be built up and recover from certain things, but ever since he debuted as an edgehead, Kurt Hawkins has been nothing more than a joke in the WWE. And it's sad to see that, but I just don't see any company having that determination to pick him up at this point, which is unfortunate.
Lyle?
I think I'll go back to training.
I think he's gonna be one of the guys who kind of just stays local and does local indies. Not because he isn't gonna be going anywhere or anything, but there's zero chance he goes to New Japan. Zero chance in hell. He runs Creative Pro out here on Long Island, which he still does even when he was in WWE. So he still does shows for Creative Pro, even when he was contracted there. So he's not going to be going to New Japan and going out there and leaving Creative Pro that far away. I think the chances of that are extremely slim. I think right now he's going to be staying local, doing NYWC, maybe a Victory Pros, and I think he's been doing a lot of Creative Pro wrestling, and I think he's going to be sticking around doing these local indies and maybe eventually going to Ring of Honor and doing stuff there, but I think mainly he's staying doing shows on Long Island.
All right. The next one we'll go over is, and Justin, we'll start it first. EC3, where do you think he ends up and why?
So EC3 is an interesting one because, as I mentioned to you off air, I think he could work really well in a few different places. I see AEW expressing interest in someone like EC3. If he can revert back to his character when he was in Impact, I think he'll find a lot of success anywhere that he goes. I think the money is with keeping him with Drake Maverick, who will go back to being Rockstar Spud, I would have to imagine. And I could see them honestly returning to Impact and picking up where they left off and continuing their work there. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I could see him going to Ring of Honor and working with Joe Hendry because I see a lot of similarities with them.
Lyle?
Oh, I mentioned it earlier, but I think the most logical landing place is Impact. I don't think that AEW is going to go after him for the sole reason that he's so similar to MJF and they're pushing MJF so much that I don't think they want to have someone who's a clone of him. So I don't think that's very realistic to me. I think that Impact is going to be the main landing place for him again. And I will pair him with Rockstar Spud there too.
So for me, it's a couple of spots. I could see, like I said, AEW, maybe they form a faction with MJF. I don't know. Ring of Honor, I can 100% see it. I think Impact would be the best spot for him with going back with Drake Maverick and being the Rockstar Spud because it worked with Dixie Carter for a bit. And NWA is another one. I think it's kind of, you kind of have that guy on the roster, I believe, there's so much. I think with him, he's just so big of a name, and he is talented, but WWE never let him shine the way he should have. He had one feud with Jon Moxley, and you never heard from him again. He never got the opportunity, really. I think Impact is the best place for him. Personally, I think he's a good leader to have in that locker room. He's a guy that's been successful there before. Like I said, I think Drake Maverick should go back with him. I even think Eric Young should go back there with him.
Eric Young, I think he should go to NWA.
I agree too.
His experience. Yeah, I think he would fit perfectly there. And he's really, ever since Sanity broke up, he's really had
been a disaster.
A rough time.
Yeah,
for him at least. Alexander Wolf got fortunate and landed on his feet in Imperium, which was a lucky break for him. But seeing Eric Young flounder on the main roster for so long is really a shame. And I think NWA would maybe revitalize some of his career and showcase what potential he has with his pedigree and
Yeah.
all his experience from Impact.
So the next one we'll talk about, Lyle, you'll start with it, is Zack Ryder. Where do you think Zack goes and why?
I think he's going to be in the Kurt Hawkins boat. I think he's going to stay local for a while. I think eventually he'll show up somewhere. But I don't think it'll be in a permanent way. I know everyone's saying he's going to AEW, but I don't think he can really go there and really succeed. Like he's in the same way as Kurt Hawkins. He was damaged goods there. They made him too much of a jobber. And it would take too much to bring him back to looking that way in the fans' eyes. I think that if he does go to AEW, he's going to be more of a Shawn Spears guy who will be in matches against good talent, but will ultimately lose.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be anywhere that goes crazy.
Justin?
He's 34.
Oh, sorry, Lyle. Justin?
So I don't expect him to really be a top talent anywhere right now for a while.
I know Cody's expressed that he thinks that Zack Ryder is one of the most underrated people on the WWE roster, and they're obviously very good friends from their days in OVW and their work together in the WWE.
He wrote a whole page on Instagram. He wrote a whole page on Instagram about him yesterday, and Brandy and Chelsea, Brandy Rhodes, Cody's wife, and Chelsea Green, Zack's fiance, are best friends.
Seeing as Cody's an EVP with AEW, and also Zack Ryder, I believe, has the #1 top-selling shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees this week.
Right now, he does.
Right now. So I think that going to AEW is probably going to make
Cody
a lot of money. So yeah,
Cody mentioned it too. He mentioned it today. He was like, "How did that happen so fast?"
Yeah, right. Like within a day. It's insane. But good for him. I hope he ends up in AEW, and I hope he's successful because he really never got a fair shot in WWE.
For sure.
That's too bad.
All right. So let's do two of the female right now: Deonna Purrazzo and Sarah Logan. I'll start for Deonna Purrazzo. I think is a very simple one. I think it should be AEW. I think AEW needs more on their 100%. Roster. I think she fits perfectly.
I think she's dating Marty's girl.
She was. They broke up.
Because I would say Woman of Honor, seeing as Marty's there.
That was the thing. I thought that too, but then they broke up. And for me, Sarah Logan is an interesting one. I 100% could see her in WoW, in Women of Wrestling. I think she would be a really good fit in that locker room there. Matches with the Beast and others on that roster, I think would be a good landing spot for her. WoW is I know a lot of people don't watch her. I think it's a very good program. I watch it sometimes. I think it's great, and it helps some of those that have been kind of lost build their character. I think Sarah Logan would be a good heavyweight champion on that roster. And for Deonna Purrazzo, I think it's an easy one. I think AEW needs to sign her, and they need to sign her as quickly as possible.
I think you hit the nail on the head with both of them. I think Deonna Purrazzo would lift the women's division so much in AEW, and they need that. They really do. They have some very good talent right now in Chris Statlander, Sheeta. Anna Jay looked very good in her match. But they need a couple more women, and I think that is someone who could really elevate that division.
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
In regards to, let me get to another where Eric Rowan ends up. Look, he's best friends with Brody Lee. I would imagine he would have a thing with the Dark Order if he's going to sign somewhere. For me, I think it's AEW. We'll see. I don't know, but again, if he's going to go to AEW, he has to be with Brody Lee. He's got to be in the Dark Order. They were well together with the Wyatt family. The Bludgeon Brothers thing was taking off at first when it first started, and then they just oversaturated it, and they did too much with it. Other than that, I don't know anywhere else where really Rowan can work. But again, I think he should just be like his second in command behind Brody. I think that would be the best spot for him. Justin?
I don't want to see him take up a spot in the Dark Order, especially being second in command. I think Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are doing a great job where they're at. I just don't see any money in Eric Rowan or any potential, really, because he hasn't shown us anything, despite being in these high-profile positions, Wyatt family, and being Daniel Bryan's friend. And I haven't seen anything from him. And I know that part of that's due to the creative, but I just don't see potential in him really to succeed in most of these places right now. So I don't have a sure answer for you as to where Eric Rowan ends up now. So I don't really know.
Um, yeah, I fully agree with what Justin said. He stole the words out of my mouth almost, but
Mhm.
um,
He did
my
have the
my
last match with The Rock. It was The Rock's last match was against Eric Rowan. So maybe that'll be his WrestleCon, like, oh, and
Well,
here's Eric Rowan, The Rock's final opponent. Like, I guess he's got that going for him.
okay, but yeah, back to my point. But you have a lot of people are saying he's gonna go to AEW, but if you really think about it, they have their tag team with Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, and if he goes there and he comes, like you said, the second in command to Brody Lee, are they gonna just not tag? Is he just gonna do nothing? I don't think
He might
the Dark
tag with
Order
Stu
should.
Grayson. He could
I
he could
don't think
tag
the
with
Dark
Stu
Order should
Grayson
have.
because they also have Alex Reynolds and John Silver.
Yeah, they have
Sorry,
them too.
now you're
They
talking.
can't be
Yeah.
a group full of old tag teams. That's not gonna work.
yeah.
I don't think that is
Mhm.
something that could actually. I don't think that would ever work. I don't think it's ever been done where a faction is just multiple tag teams together. Um,
Yeah.
the big profile tag team that they're pushing out of that group is uh Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and then they are trying to make Brody Lee a singles wrestler. So I really don't see a way that Eric Rowan would fit in there unless he does singles, which I don't think he's as good of a wrestler for a singles career than he is compared to in his tag career. Um, but yeah, he's the interesting one. I don't really see anywhere right now that he really stands out.
Yeah.
I think eventually Ring of Honor. Um, I think he'll have to reinvent himself a lot, but I think Ring of Honor one day down the road he'll
All
go to
right.
because they seem to get a lot of guys and let them reinvent themselves.
All right, guys. So we're running out of time. We didn't really get to do everybody today. We'll do like Heath Slater and them next week. But knowing Heath Slater's career, he's just gonna bulk up like Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre did and be the world champion in 2
And win the
years. So it doesn't even
Universal
matter.
title.
When the Universal doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Really quick, loud finisher. Go.
I want to say that it's a real shame you have AEW, which has their pay-per-view coming up, and they can't even have their top talent at the shows in order to make this such a good pay-per-view like it was last year. They're really missing Heyman. They're really missing Pac. They're really missing the Young Bucks. They're missing everybody, and uh, it it's it's sad because they were putting on such a good show and they were really gaining momentum. I think for Double or Nothing, if they can find a way to get them to the shows, I think that's when they'll do blood and guts.
Okay.
But it's going to be interesting what they do for Double or Nothing.
Justin, quickly.
I saw an exchange on Twitter between Fit Finley and Jay White. Jay White was giving an invitation for Finley to join the Bullet Club. So, seeing as he's departed now from the WWE, he's no longer a producer with them. I would love to see Finley go over to New Japan Pro Wrestling and kind of just fill the Gato role almost for the Bullet Club in some aspect.
Yeah.
I just think that would be an interesting fit for Fit Finley.
And for me, really quickly, it's a shout out to all the healthcare frontline workers that are working their tails off throughout this entire crisis. And again, we send our condolences to those family and friends that have been lost throughout this entire process. Again, we want to be back at wrestling shows as soon as possible, but again, we have to think health first, wrestling second at this point. It's a situation it's a bad one. But we can't be selfish throughout this entire process. We have to take it day by day, listen to the health experts, listen to the doctors, listen to our leaders of this world, and hope for the best. And hopefully sooner than later, we'll be back at arenas cheering our favorite superstars for sure. All right, guys, listen, thank you so much as always. We'll talk next week for sure. Keep it locked in to WHBC. You're listening to 90.3 WHBC, the voice of NASA Community College. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.